Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. This is what we call Monday Night Football. An hour of pure fun.
Pure fun.
Mexican soccer. Change the tune up a little bit because we got a copyright notice last time. Don't want the YouTube police to shut us down here at the Mexican Soccer Show, but let's go ahead and get started, guys. All right, Sam Wisa from Food Mex Nation. This is an hour-long podcast dedicated to all things Mexican football. We'll be having a lot of fun today talking about, as you see behind me, well, Mexican soccer.
I think you pointed to soccer first, and then you pointed to Mexico.
So I know, it's because it's all backwards when I look at the screen that's right here. All right, my producers tell me to hurry up and start doing this. So let's go ahead and see who's on the show tonight. What we talk about? Let's say who's on the show. Let's see, Mr. Tom Marshall in Guadalajara. Tom, how's it going? Look at that. Speed up the music when we hit Tom.
It's not been the best day. Well, the music's cheering me up. I'm not going to go on about it, but my phone died. Never good.
Oh, that's why you got a new phone.
What phone did you get?
Okay.
Got S7. And then my dog ate gusano quemador in English, but the burning worm. Not good for dogs to eat burning worms, so I had to rush into the vet.
Someone looked that up. Is he okay?
I think he's all right. Yeah, they gave him some injections, but I mean,
man.
Yeah, it was pretty serious. But anyway,
man.
I made it back in time. That was the most important thing. Left the dog, no problem. I didn't really leave the dog.
Well, Tom, hope you have a better day. All right. You're talking about Mexican soccer now, so they should cheer up. Mr. Naive Moran.
Buenas noches, Tom, Wiso, Cesar. Actually, this weekend, my little cousin, a 5-year-old cousin, taught me what a gusano quemador is while we were playing badminton. So everything's coming together.
This is just coming together.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first time I ever heard that a gusano quemador exists in this planet. And it does burn. I'm not gonna lie. But going now into Mexican soccer, I think
talk about gusano quemador.
The gusano quemador show.
That's confused in San Diego.
the Pachuca Chivas last night was amazing to watch. I mean, I think a great way to close the 14 week of Liga MX.
All right. Yeah. Great ways to get it started. Mr. Cesar Hernandez. How's it going, Cesar?
Good. I feel like I can't complain because I was about to bring up like the 5 minutes of rain that was happening in San Diego, and I looked outside my apartment and I was like slightly bothered by it. But that's the only real problem I have. DJ Cuddles is all right. I don't have to take her to the vet or anything. Soccer's doing all right. Here excited to talk about some Liga MX stuff, some playoffs, maybe a little bit of Marco Fabian. You know, he seems to be doing all right there over in Germany. Maybe a little bit Carlos Salcedo. But good stuff, guys. Let's do this.
Good stuff. Sorry, I was looking up gusano quemador. I was like gusano. I was like, did I eat one of those? Did I drink one of those one time in Mexico? Isn't that the little worm? Isn't that the little worm in the tequila bottle? Gusano quemador? No. Hopefully he's okay, Tom. Or she, your dog. Gizmo.
He looked so. I honestly didn't know like how dangerous he was because they look like just like little furry things. They look quite cute in that. And then like I told the girlfriend and she was like, take him to the vet. I was like, oh no.
So Tom, you allowed this to happen. You just let him eat it.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if it's the right platform for this conversation, but
sorry guys. Sorry for distracting us a little bit.
but basically, it came out of the grass, and I saw it, so I stamped on it, and I was like, right, game over. It's all right. But then the dog, he was trying to escape from me, and he was running on the car, and he escaped, and he obviously like got to it. And after that, he was like, I know he wasn't good. That was my day.
Nasty tummy ache.
Anyways,
the gusano quemador comes out of the woodwork in the rainy months. in Mexico City. Guadalajara is most. All right, guys. Sorry to get started. It's been a wacky day. All right, let's go ahead and get started. What we're talking about today in Mexican soccer, as you know, lots of things. Columbus, Ohio. I'm sure we're gonna start seeing the hype. Already some rivalries. Pancho Villa's Army, our friends, are starting to heat up. Obviously, the rivalry there against the U.S. is coming up on November 11th on Veterans Day here in the United States. We'll be talking a little bit about who might be in that call-up that should already be in the works. Cesar and I were thinking, all right, when is the FMF going to release the players? We'll go a little bit about that. When we're thinking, we'll probably have maybe a little pool, maybe try to gamble away what time or what day they'll release it. Usually Cesar says Thursday. I'm thinking a Wednesday. We'll have fun on the list. Also talk about a little bit about Europeos. Regarding that list, I have a little game called Yes, Maybe, and No of who's going to be able to make it in Osorio's lineup. See who's right.
Maybe.
Naib's going to give us a great recap on the wonderful Copa MX. That it should be kind of getting interesting here, especially Clásico that's coming up. So lots and lots to talk about in football, and of course Liga MX. Mr. Jason Marquez is not with us.
We're a bilingual show. It works out.
Yeah. Liga MX. Mr. Jason Marquez is not with us. Usually, we petition for him to show up, but he doesn't want anything to do with the show when Cruz Azul is going through a bad time, which is normally all the time. So I don't know why he chose not today. Because it's not like during great times he comes up, and anytime when it is great, they lose and he doesn't come anyway. So just kidding, Mr. Jason. Johnny is not joining us today, and someone's already upset that Johnny's not on the show because they wanted to talk mad trash to him. So as far as Liga MX,
you can just go to Twitter at Johnny Rico there. Just send him all your messages. He's very popular right there. Just tell him anything about Chivas or Marco Fabian. Johnny loves that kind of talk.
Exactly, especially Marco Fabian. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about Mexico. Obviously, like I just mentioned, the Columbus game is coming up. Columbus, Ohio. Lots of people wanting tickets still. Messaging us, messaging Pancho Villa's Army. It's been really, really hard. I saw some tickets on StubHub for almost $1,000. So,
Yikes.
Really want to go? You can definitely spend the cash to try to go to. I think what's going to be a very, very intense game. But let's talk about Mexico. Not any real news, obviously, since the Chicago game. We did talk last week on the show about those games, and we dove in a little bit about who will be on that call-up. We're expecting probably a list. I mean, it's almost 3 weeks, so usually we'll start seeing next week maybe. The game's on a Friday, so probably Thursday of next week. What are you guys thinking of on who's he called? Or it could be an early, maybe a Monday list?
I feel like usually, at least recently, it's just we've always seen those lists on the Thursday before the game. Unless if it's an early, unless if it's like a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday match, that'd be different. But I mean, it's the game's gonna land on Friday, November 11th. I mean, who knows? Sometimes you can see those lists on a Wednesday or a little bit earlier. I'm gonna say it's on Thursday, November 3rd. So I'm gonna say maybe next Thursday that we'll be seeing that list. And maybe beforehand we'll be seeing some of those Twitter accounts from like certain European clubs tweeting out, be like, "Oh, congratulations to blah blah blah, who now officially made it to the call. Congratulations to blah blah." Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I haven't seen that during Osorio's, or at least I haven't seen that.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, but maybe Osorio's like, "All right, can you please cut that out?"
Don't do that. I feel like
Please don't do that, because I haven't seen it in a long time.
I feel like the European clubs, like especially the smaller ones, are like, "Hey, if we tweet this out, we'll get like loads of retweets."
Yeah, they get a lot of retweets. Screw you, Osorio. We care about our marketing. I don't care about your little list. By the way,
so that means as soon as last place Granada finds out that Ochoa is on the list, they're gonna boom, tweet it out. We need some distraction right now, guys.
Well, there you go. Obviously, but there hasn't been any news. Even Osorio attending any games or anything like that. It's kind of quiet. It's died down. This is especially with Mexico, but coming up. So you're going to start seeing some obviously, the rivalry talk, especially between all of us, getting ready for some great articles with United States and Mexico. Got a chance to interview a couple of players from past that have attended the games. I know Tom also. You I'm sure working on a story. So it should be pretty fun coming up in the next few weeks, especially with probably one of the biggest games for Osorio, especially with the rivalry. It's the United States, so we'll see what's up. But not any real news on the Mexican national team, right? Nothing that we can really say this is a must story. So we'll kind of leave that is, unless there's any other topics. No, because there's a new jersey coming out next year. Woo woo! So get ready. All right, let's talk about our Europeos like we normally do. Again, not a lot of news. We did talk a little bit about Fabian. Johnny didn't really like that conversation, but we want to play a little game because of the Mexican national team and the list called Yes, Maybe, and No. And those of you that are on the chat, which I do see Mr. Gio, Jose, Joanna Sanchez, the guy with the name 23. Who else is here? MB23. Lots of people. You can play along with us, and you can type in yes, maybe, or no, and see if our experts are ready to go. So let's go down the list of players in Europa, and obviously anywhere abroad. It could be anywhere. And see, what do you guys think if they're going to be in Osorio's list? It'll be kind of fun to see. All right, let's start off with the obvious. Mr. Chicharito.
Yes.
Yes, everyone. Well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yes. Yep.
Chicharito, Guardado.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Double yes, actually, for Guardado, right there.
Moreno.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, those are let's just skip through the ones that I want to definitely hear some yes or no's or maybe. let's go into right away. Let's just talk about Mr. Marco Fabian.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Tom.
Yeah.
Now, is this a yes, you think he should be on there, or yes, he's going to be on there because of Osorio is going to take him?
I think both. I mean, I think, he's
he
done
deserves
enough. And I think the way Osorio spoke about him, the way he's spoken about Osorio as well, as like the kind of, I think he likes him, and I think, obviously Fabian's hitting maybe the form of his life. I mean, I know he's done it in little periods in Chivas before, but right now, and obviously the Olympics 2012, before the Olympics especially, but the level's just a completely different level playing in the Bundesliga, and he's doing really well. He's becoming the player that everybody wanted him to become and knew he could become. I mean, it's early days. He's only been there for a couple of months, but let's see if he can continue.
What is interesting about Marco Fabian, based on what I've been able to see in Eintracht, is the versatility. I really like how he's moving in the midfield. He's going back, defense, goes up, attacks. He's the modern number 10. He's playing like a modern number 10 that requires both defensive and attacking, movements or decisions. Because the 10 we always associated with sort of a slow pace, not moving that much on the pitch until you see the spaces open and you go for it. But Fabian is doing well in the midfield. I mean, and the guy has four Bundesliga Most Valuable Player awards in the first 8 weeks of the Bundesliga. So you can't go against that. I mean, I think not even Chicharito has been able to win 4 MVPs in the Bundesliga.
I think that's actually one of the more interesting things, that over the past month, Fabian has been the Mexican in Germany. I mean, right now there's only 2. I mean, he's been stealing the headlines instead of Chicharito. Fabian has 3 goals and 4 assists in his last 6 games, and it's just everybody has this idea, and I'm still a little reserved myself about the idea of just he isn't consistent, blah 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 blah. Yeah, he does this every now and then, but he's really stepped up in the last month, and I think we have to give him credit for that. And I think it's almost as if he was saving up all that energy that he had while he was on the bench when Niko Kovac was benching him and he wasn't willing to play him, and then suddenly he gets that start against Bayer Leverkusen last month, and he's exploded since then. And it's been a lot of fun to watch him, and I think if he continues to find the back of it, if he continues to find these assists, who knows, he might even get a start next month. I'm not saying he's worthy of getting a start. I'm just saying he's, at the least, it seems like he's ready to get on the roster. Yeah, he's doing extremely well.
He's doing well. He's doing well. No one can deny that except for Johnny. So he's doing well. That
I think.
Yeah, Tom.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, just a quick thing with Fabian and about the starting thing. I mean, what's happening with Fabian is coinciding with Hector Herrera not playing well and struggling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's that factor as well. It's not just Fabian's doing amazing. It's like slowly we might be seeing a spot opening up in one of those kind of wider midfields. But if it's a 4-3-3, which we never know with Osorio, but probably is.
And we'll kind of, and that was my next person that I was going to ask. Herrera, yes, maybe, or no?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
But let's be honest. I have yet to see Herrera have a great game. I mean, I don't remember him going to have a good game.
But what Herrera represents for the national team, what he has done in the past, I know
what has he done?
No, I'm just saying in the past few years, I know he's struggled a bit, but at his very best, and he's had flashes of that this season for Porto. I'm not saying he's been at his best. I'm saying that it would be ridiculous if he weren't to get a call.
I just feel like
because we know what he's capable of.
Yeah, we know what a lot of people are capable of. You know,
The thing with Herrera is that he's been one of the most consistent starters in the Osorio era. No matter if the consistency in his playing has been on or not. I mean, it's been on and off. I mean, it's pretty obvious. However, what Herrera brings to the table is a todocampista. You know, this guy, you know the work rate that he's going to put into the match. I remember the final against the U.S. in Rose Bowl. He didn't score a goal. He didn't have an assist, but he was always there, you know, defending till the last minute of that match. And I think that sacrifice, that grit, it will be needed against the U.S., you know, because you know what you're going to get from Herrera. Yeah. It might not be amazing, but you never know. I mean, he could all of a sudden just explode and give you a phenomenal game because he's that type of player. I mean, I think he can bring it up in a couple of weeks.
Definitely. For me, I feel like he's slowly losing it. I haven't seen something great for him when he comes on. I feel like he's not motivated when he's on, and maybe something with Osorio, but I've just seen a very lethargic Herrera. I haven't seen that hunger that I saw from him before, and hopefully that changes. But I don't know. I asked myself that question in Chicago. We're asking, like, what happened to Herrera?
I mean, I wouldn't be too bothered if he were to not get the start next month. I still believe he should be the starter. I still believe that he is one of Mexico's best players. Yeah. But I think it would be ridiculous if he were not get a call. But at the very least, he should be there. Just like I said, just what he represents for the team, and like what Naive said, just like he will give you that drive. He'll give you that kind of effort in the midfield. But no, I think at the moment, at the very very least, even if he's somewhat poor in the next week or so, I would still give him a call.
All right. The other thing with Herrera is it's like this kind of inconsistent that we've seen. This isn't the first time. Remember the 2015 Gold Cup? Yeah. And I remember asking Piojo Herrera, like, what's wrong with Herrera? What's wrong with Herrera? Why isn't he producing? And Piojo didn't. He was like, I don't know. I mean, we all know he's not at the level, but it took him a while to get back to that level, and he brought it into the Copa America. He was doing okay. He played quite well until last season, but then again, it's like, I don't know. It's Mexico need Herrera. The other thing about Herrera that a bit of a criticism, I thought by this point of his career now, I'm going back 2 years.
He should be.
You know, when you look, not just an automatic star, which I think he pretty much is, but also a real leader. You know what I mean? Somebody who really stands up and leads this team. And I agree with you, Wiso. I don't think we've seen that from him. You know, when you say when's he make that impact, and you know, I agree with Naive as well, saying he is that back and forth box to box midfielder. But I can't remember a game where he's taken it kind of by the scruff of the neck and said, right, this is my game. I'm going to dictate this game because I'm better than all the rest of than these opposition players.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think last season, I mean, Tom mentioned just he seemed a little tired, and I think what it took was for him to have a little bit of a break. I know he was given a little bit of a break. He was benched a couple of games this season for Porto, and he's bounced back, kind of, not really. I mean, I haven't really been that convinced by his form after his break, but I feel as if, I don't know, for whatever reason, he just needs those longer breaks than usual, or he just takes a while.
The reality is, in my opinion, I've seen more of those performances from Miguel Layún lately than Herrera. You know, Layún as a right back, he's been determining the outcome of the games for Porto. The goal he scored over there in Belgium was spectacular. You know, making the run even after doing a mistake on the defensive end. That's the kind of stuff that sometimes I don't see from Herrera. You know, that ability to overcome the obstacles. And Layún is doing sensational in that regard. over there at Porto at the moment.
And that's a Layun who's been playing as a right back, not as a left back as well.
Yeah.
All right, keep it going. And yes, maybe no. Layun, of course, everybody will say yes, unless somebody. Then we get into the more a little controversial, Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
I say no.
I say maybe.
I say no. I say let's teach this guy, take him out of this game. Maybe he will be like, all right, I really am not doing that great. I need to get something going. Like, I feel like he's. I mean, at the same time, it's not like we have such great defenders that are waiting to take his place. But I feel like, at what point are we gonna go? All right, Reyes, go back. Like, it's just not working. Tom,
Yeah.
yes,
I'm going to
maybe
say
no.
yes. I think that Osorio's going to call all the main Euro-based players, and I think he's going to pick the
There goes
strongest
suspense of this
possible
game.
squad. I think he's going to pick the strongest possible squad he can, and then when he's got that 23-man squad together, then he'll pick the players that he wants to. I mean, someone like Diego Reyes, obviously, again, he's not lived up to what we thought he'd be living up to a couple of years ago, but then in Mexico, who else are you going to call? I know people are thinking Cesar Montes, for example.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. He's a really talented player, but he's never played.
I think a good question to consider for next month, and that's something I keep thinking about. Is like, for me, it's a guarantee that Moreno's going to start. Like, let's just say that we have a 4-3-3. Moreno's going to start in that left center back position, and that big question is who's going to be at that right center back. I'm not sure about Reyes. Marquez that's a different conversation.
Then you got Ayala.
Yeah, Ayala I'm still unsure about, but as of now, I'm still saying that I think Salcedo is that. Right now, he should be starting against the United States.
Yeah.
If he could continue what he's been doing in Serie A against the U.S., he could easily fit in well with Mexico. And that, whether it be a 4-man backline, even a 3-man backline, because that's what he's doing with Fiorentina too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Araujo or Salcedo, and I say that because just the way Osorio's talked about the States and the direct balls into the box, and obviously the good in the air. He's talked about it already, and I think that because of that, he thinks Araujo is the best header of the ball, the most physical centre back that he's got, and I think Salcedo, obviously, he brings some of that to the table as well. Yeah. So that's why I'd go for it. Like Reyes, I mean, he's not the strongest, is he?
I mean, even as defensive midfielder, I feel like there's still a few options that I'd rather have instead of Reyes. In that,
I just don't see. I don't see him even a backup of somebody right now. I just see him come right to the bench, and
he's a backup, but I don't know. I think the argument could easily be made.
Questionable backup. All right, Salcedo. We've answered that question. Definitely yes. I think from everyone.
Salcedo he was in the call-up, I remember, back in February of 2015, was it, over there in Miami, the friendly, I think. That was the only call-up that Salcedo got with Osorio. So, I mean, I think, we'll see how that works out. Coming in, getting used to the system all over again, or the ideas that Osorio wants out of him, Salcedo, I think.
Also played against the United States.
But he's definitely the standout right now. When we talk about a defender, the standout right now is Salcedo. I don't see another one that is at the same level right now.
Definitely. Salcedo also played against the United States in April in San Antonio. Yeah, with that, if you remember that. All right, we talked about Hector Herrera. Carlos Vela.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm saying.
What does the chat think? Carlos Vela, yes or no? Let's see it from everybody. Go ahead while we discuss.
I say no.
I say no.
I'm saying maybe. I'm saying maybe because I think he's starting to find his rhythm a little bit in Spain. He's got 3 goals in his last 5 starts. I think. I mean, it looks like we'll see. It looks like Tecatito got a little bit of a knock in the last game. I don't think it's anything serious. There are no reports that he's actually injured, but maybe because that's fresh in my mind, I'm thinking that Vela could potentially be an interesting impact player as a second half substitute. I don't know. I'm still. It's difficult for me to justify it, which is why I'm still keeping this at a maybe. I'm leaning towards no, but
I'm going with.
It's just difficult with all those those interesting winger options we already have.
I'm going with Vela gets called, and he says no. So
That's not an option. That's not an option.
it is. 'Cause ultimately, it said the question was
We said that's just a no, man.
who's Osorio's gonna call. That was the question. It wasn't who's gonna make it to the team.
That's
Who's
it.
gonna be there. That's where you guys messed up. It's who's he gonna call. Ghostbusters.
That's a special Vela
Special.
category.
So let's see
Special
what
Bella vote right there.
let's see what the show. Let's show. I mean the chat.
I'm going for
saying
maybe.
Vela, maybe.
I'm gonna
Yes.
change.
No.
I'm gonna change
Vela.
mine to maybe.
Tom went
Cesar
to
just
maybe.
convinced me.
Now is
Cesar
Osorio
just
gonna
convinced me.
call him, or let me just for this question, should Vela be on the team? Does that change your answer?
Oh, I would say. I
No.
mean, if it should is a no. I'm keeping it a no for should.
I'm really when you see the level of Tecatito, then you also see the level of Chucky Lozano this season, 7 goals so far in the Apertura, and then you also think about what happened in San Pedro Sula against Honduras and how the game unfolded, and you think about Jürgen Damm. I saw Jürgen Damm this weekend at CEU, and he didn't have an assist or a goal, but the speed was there. I mean, and I think about it, it's like, wouldn't you want that speed in the second half against the U.S. when they're tired out? Based on the philosophy that Osorio has shown, I think he wants pace. He wants pace with Chucky, Tecatito,
You guys are
and I don't
crazy.
see the pace in Vela anymore.
You guys
I-
are
I-
crazy. Carlos Vela right now is at the La Liga Awards, and Jürgen Damm is not at the La Liga Awards.
I think that.
Okay.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think.
Can't argue with that. I can't argue with that one.
I don't know if that's a good. I don't know if that's a
Carlos Vela es
good.
en Europa y tú no. A la Onera
Yeah.
Castillo.
I think another player to bring up too, another interesting winger who I've liked him since he's come
And
back
I
from
mention
Spain.
Aquino, Aquino.
Yeah, there you go. Aquino is actually an interesting option. I would even say you could even say that Aquino is above. If you're saying that there's going to be 2 backups, right? You have
Okay,
Tecatito,
no.
you have Tecatito, and you have Lozano as the starting options, and behind them you have Dam, and you have Dam, and then you have Aquino. It was the first time I said Dam without an
And we haven't
accent.
even talked about Giovanni Dos Santos. Where does
Guys, guys,
Giovanni?
No, there you go. We haven't talked about Aquino. We haven't talked
Right
about-
here. All right, you guys are getting way too ahead. All right, I got this. I was getting.
How do you talk about Jesus Gallardo?
Yes. We still gotta go through Gallardo. Neri might be coming back. He's still in Europa in the 3rd division. Neri Castillo. We were gonna do the Neri Castillo podcast starting when he comes back. Join us on Wednesday nights. Just Neri Castillo all the time. But fine. Let's get to it, Mister. Before that one, Jimenez.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't even know.
Yes.
Forgot about Jimenez.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been injured. He's been
Yeah.
injured. Yeah.
All right, and Mr. Gio Dos Santos. I
Yeah.
say yeah. Of course he's gonna come. He
Yes.
is a captain unless something crazy. And his little bro, Joe Bro Dos. Joe Bro.
Definitely, yes.
Jonathan
Yeah.
Dos Santos.
Yeah.
All right, did I miss anybody?
Jonathan Dos Santos.
I
Yeah,
just said that one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just thinking about it. Just about, I think. Just about.
All right.
You're missing Pedro Arce Latapi. Is the star of the Greek Super League gonna get called up?
Well, in that case, I mean, we're all talking about Mexicans abroad. Johnny Magallon, tearing it up in Argentina.
Argentina.
Is
Oh,
he in
isn't he-
Argentina right now? Yeah, I think he's in a.
But
Lanús.
I think one of the points here, we said a lot of names already, and all of them, it's a good generation.
Yeah.
It's a good generation of players that are in Europe. It's just finding that convincement or convencimiento, how we say it in Spanish, for them to do well. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Mexico has enough players, and this goes back to the last hexagonal that was horrific. But I think this one it's a little bit improving, I think, in the sense that we have more options now in Europe. But all these names that we're saying, it hopefully, it can click. Because it does make you think there's a lot of options. There's a lot of ways that El Tri can play and get the results, But unfortunately, right now we don't know how this is gonna shape up,
I feel like, unfortunately, I think all this potential that I see is mostly focused on the midfield and the attack. I think we have an exciting amount of wingers. I think we have exciting options in the midfield. I'm still a little bit more hesitant when looking at the defense. I know we still have options like Cesar Montes is obviously an up-and-coming player. That's someone to watch out for. But even in the goalkeeper position, I'm kind of lost
Guys, we forgot about Memo Ochoa.
No for Ochoa. No, I'm kidding.
This is what happens. Coaches don't call him up. Maybe it's because they just forget.
But yeah,
and no one on the chat either. I was looking at to see if I missed any players, and everyone even on the chat forgot about Guillermo Ochoa, which he's also in the La Liga awards for getting. It's kind of like the Razzie Awards, the worst.
Use the hashtag no memo, no party.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
so you need 3 keepers, right? You gotta call 3 keepers. So Ochoa, I actually think he's gonna get called.
I just hope goalkeeper wise, I just want to move past these regular guys who actually they're veterans. A lot of these guys are veterans. The Moises Muñozes, the Talaveras, the Ochoas, the Picolins.
Cesar, for a goalkeeper.
No, they're
in 2014. I mean,
no,
wow.
They're still veterans. I just think for once I would like to see. I'm not saying that some young guy should start. I just want to see some young guy. I think like calling up in the last like Cota. I think that was a step in the right direction. I'd like to see some even younger. I know we have limited options, but just to give him a chance, just at that third goalkeeper position in a call-up, just to bring him in to a roster and give him some time to train with the team. That's what I'm looking forward to, but it's not going to happen. But.
So Ochoa, yes, maybe, or no?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. Oh man, I'm gonna say yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's picking the balls out of the net like so often with Granada.
But that's not his fault though.
Goal for 7-0 against Chile. But it's not great for confidence, is it? I mean, let's be honest. It's like he's not in outstanding form. And if you're not going to bring him, I don't know. And I've got the question as well: is he the greatest when he's not playing? I don't know. It's an open question, but I have my doubts as well. I don't know if he's a great kind of squad player. If he's the third goal, you call up Moises Muñoz around. You know what I mean? He's a top guy, and you know what I mean. He's going to work hard in training, get on with people. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there as well. I think
he's. I could even see him starting. I could even see him starting.
Hey, I think it all depends too on just like if Talavera has another good game or how Talavera looks in training. I feel like he's definitely up there in the top 3 positions for the goalkeeper position. So I don't know.
Talavera the last couple of weeks has played really well, but I think more than that, again going back to what Osorio said about the United States being kind of direct, Talavera is by far the best Mexican goalkeeper in coming out getting the ball. I'd put money on him starting. If someone said, "Do you want to have a bet?" I'll have a bet.
Oh, so how much money do you want? How much money, Tom?
Whoa. All right, those are Mexicans abroad. Kind of our yes, no, maybe. So, interesting to see. I mean, we have, pretty good list. Looks like most of the yeses. I mean, everyone. There's no really any surprises. Maybe Fabian doing well. Usually, it's someone we can talk to, but everyone's saying Vela's not going to make it. So I think I don't think it's going to be that big of a surprise. When it's coming up. So that list should be coming up soon. The Europeos already got a call up, so we should somehow they already know who's coming, usually 20 days before the FIFA date. So interesting to see.
We're just waiting for those tweets. One of those, like we talked about before the show, one of those small teams, just random team, just sending out the tweets like, "Oh, congratulations to Pedro Arce getting called up to the Mexican national team, starting center attacking midfielder."
All right, let's talk. Let's switch it over. Chat, everyone's they really like this game. I can see comments. Nobody calls Jonathan Dos Santos Dojos Bro Weasel, so you got to stop. I'll make sure to stop that now. Let's talk about Copa MX. Naive said, if we don't talk about Copa MX, I'm never coming back on the show. I mean, I just said, hello, Naive, how are you? And he's like, you never talk about it. So this is the Copa MX segment. Mr. Naive. What's happening? Why do we need to talk about this?
Because there's a Clásico Nacional going on.
All right, okay. So just because your team and and Chivas is they're coming together, now we got to talk about Copa MX.
Yeah,
go ahead. Let's talk about it.
It does good advert for the Copa MX. I mean, I think we all can agree that for the most part, the Copa MX is not the cup or the tournament that we tune into. That gets us pumped up about. But, because it's the Centenario, because it's at Azteca, because we know what Chivas just did to America a couple of weeks ago, beating them 3-0, it does, develop a new, thriller, basically, because on the one hand, we got Almeida with Chivas, the young Argentine coach, and on the other hand, we got America with Ricardo Antonio Lavolpe, who is one of the most, knowledgeable Argentine head coaches to ever be in Mexico. So, what can that turn out into? Imagine if Almeida, the new one, beats the expert in this world, in this territory, like La Volpe. So I think that's why this game is so important, and it does add a good, feeling to the Copa MX. And they're talking about revanchas, they're talking about fracasos, and all that. And, Chivas lost against Pachuca this weekend. America has won all of its home games with Ricardo Antonio Lavolpe on the helm. So it's a game that has a lot of ingredients, and hopefully it turns out into a decent game, similar to what we saw with the Pachuca Chivas. But I kind of see it difficult for it to happen, to tell you the truth.
I kind of feel bad for Toluca and Querétaro. No one's going to care about that semifinal. Everyone, people might. Honestly, before I jumped on the show too, I was like, oh, I guess I should figure out what the other semifinal Copa MX match is, because I kind of saw the games, but I still completely forgot. But I do feel bad for them. Just no one's going to give them any attention either. Doesn't matter what the result of their match is. Everybody's going to be focusing in on that other semifinal match.
Well, I know Johnny definitely wants this. He wants his 3 cups in 1 year or whatever. The Trident or something like that.
The Trident. Oh, that'd be great.
Oh,
but it's a big game for America.
No,
when Chivas absolutely battered them 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure fans didn't think they'd be able to, get some revenge so quickly. And you put it in the context of the Centennial.
Mm-hmm.
Centennial, it's like America can get a bit of redemption. I mean, obviously, people aren't going to forget the 3-0. Making a final as well. But then on the other hand, you've got Chivas thinking, what if we do this again? What happens if again we go to the Azteca? We assert our authority, beat them fairly to America Centennial. With the Liguilla coming up as well. And if you look at the standings right now of the Liguilla, in the quarterfinals, so added really nicely.
Yeah, we might see 3 clásicos in one jornada. Right?
Basically four clásicos. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're right. 4.
Yeah.
But the thing here with Americanismo is how much emphasis they put on winning a cup. I'm pretty sure, if, for example, the season is over and the only thing America was able to win in this semester specifically was the Copa MX, well, it doesn't look good on America. I think America, let's say that Chivas beats them tomorrow. Well, or Wednesday to be exact. They still have the league. They still have the league, and if they win the league, the 2 losses against Chivas would be forgotten right away. But if they don't win the league, it will be one of the worst moments of the history of its centenario, to lose against Chivas twice, to not win a single title. The only title would be the Conca Champions, because the Club World Cup would be a miracle. Let's be honest. First of all, you got to beat the Asian champion, and then you can think about Real Madrid, because already over here in Mexico, they're thinking, oh, we're going to play against Real Madrid, blah, blah. Well, first do the homework and beat your first opponent. But, that's how it works with America. I think the obsession is the league title. And I think La Volpe is well aware of that, And then we also have to see what type of teams are we going to see from Chivas and America? Will Chivas put its best 11 and America put its best 11? We have to see that, no?
Hopefully they would.
I think Chivas are not going to do that. I'm pretty certain Almeida's going to stick with the Copa MX team. But I mean, the Copa MX team includes Gallito Vázquez, Alon Pulido, Oswaldo Alanis, Antonio Rodriguez, Miguel Ponce. I mean, Nestor Calderon. I mean, it's pretty strong.
And then again, I think you could also say that, I mean, both these teams, they have, let me check, 23 points each, correct? Yeah, they both have 23 points. They're on the cusp of making the Liguilla. And their next opponents in the league, I mean, they're not difficult. Chivas have to take on Cruz Azul, and America has to take on Santos Laguna. Both of them are going to be at home, too. You can kind of see, like, maybe, I'm not saying they're going to do it, but there could be some incentive to try to field a stronger formation during this match when you have a fairly easy following Liga MX match during week 15. Yeah.
If I was to make a bet, I'd say America are going to go full strength and achieve the. I just think Almeida is so focused on how he treats the players and stuff, and I don't think he wants to say to those Copa MX players who have been, they've been sweet with him so far, even though, Gullit been angry and upset about not being in the league team. I mean, Gallito Vasquez as well, considering where he came from. And I think that if he, against Club America in the Azteca, all right, Gullit, Oberlin Pinedas, Michael Perez is playing. I mean, I think I think he wants to see Gallito and Gullit opportunity. I mean, go into the Azteca and really show that they've still got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Naib has a good point too. Like, I mean, I have to consider that even if America beats Chivas, even if they beat Chivas, they go to the final and they win that final and they win that title. In this 100-year anniversary, would that really matter that much if they focused their energy on that and didn't walk away with the league title? I think the league title, as Naib mentioned, that is the big thing. The Club World Cup is going to be extremely difficult. And what makes America, what makes them the most successful team is obviously the fact that they have those 12 league titles. So, it'll be interesting to see if they do field a stronger starting 11, or if that'll be the focus for La Volpe. If he will be if he'll be eager to get this title, if he knows that even if he gains it, it's not exactly going to look good if he doesn't get a league championship.
Looking at from the Chivas standpoint, I think beating America on Wednesday would raise the momentum for the team heading into the Liguilla. Because I think Chivas is that type of team this season. It sort of gets on hot streaks and then cools down and then heats up again. Beating America would be a huge boost, especially considering what Tom said about putting those bench players like Nestor I can't believe Nestor Calderon, Gullit Peña, and Gallito are bench players. But, that's what it is right now with Almeida's Chivas. And the more assets Almeida has heading into the Liguilla, the better off will be Chivas. Because we saw what happened already with Tigres. We saw what happened with Pachuca. Is that sense that sometimes they're just missing firepower. They don't have that. They don't have the strikers that put the ball in all the time, like Boselli, like Franco Jara, like even Jonathan Retavizcaya. They don't have that. You depend on Saldívar, you depend on Pulido, and if they're not at their top level, Chivas is not gonna do much in the Liguilla.
Who wins,
so
guys?
you need those.
Who wins on Wednesday?
I'm gonna say
Chivas.
No, just quickly. I think I've got a lot of pressure on them in this game. I don't think Chivas really have. They've already beaten them. Chivas second team. They're going to try their best, and that's in the squad to do it. Absolutely. I mean, I think the likelihood of winning a league title is remote. It's a 1 in 8 chance they're going to be in the Liguilla, whereas Chivas in one season in the Centenario, I think the pressure is big time.
There it is. The pressure, Tom.
I'll translate from Tom's bad Wi-Fi. I think he was saying. I think
you did kind of.
I think it's always just.
It always happens around this time.
I just messed with you, Tom.
Tom, it always happens around this time, man. I feel like at the 50th minute, there's something that happens where it always goes out for 2 minutes or something like that. It comes in and out. Something's up. Go ahead. So we got Chivas, Tom, Naib. What do you say?
I say America 2-1. I think I do see America putting a strong 11 on Wednesday. I mean, it's all or nothing basically, and in that sense, just to build, a memorable Copa, a memorable Centennial. I mean, because so far it hasn't been that good. So I think it's going to be an important game for Oribe Peralta, for Silvio Romero, for Miki Arroyo, who I think has stepped up quite well in the last week. And I think that those three are going to make the difference. I mean, I'm not even saying Ruben Sambueza could make somewhat of a difference, but I think the main players here are going to be Peralta, Arroyo, and Silvio against Chivas.
There you go.
I'm going with a narrow 2-1 victory for Chivas on Wednesday night in the Azteca in Mexico City, in Mexico, North America.
Earth.
Planet Earth.
All right, guys. Well, enough about the Copa MX. I'm just kidding. No, interesting to see. Yeah, this classic is going to be good, especially a midweek treat for everybody. Let's go ahead and talk about. Let's talk about the other semifinal, right? No, let's go ahead and and talk about Liga MX. I felt it was a great weekend, especially goal-wise, golazos. We have to just start mentioning golazo. I mean, I cannot believe what I was watching when Pachuca and Chivas at the end of the game, and I mean, it's. I'm showing it to even non-soccer. You know, when I was just kind of showing around people, especially Sunday night, that they're watching like NFL, and they were like, "What?" It was just amazing. It was just an amazing goal. Just kind of.
I showed it to my girlfriend. She really didn't care. I like forced her. I was like, "Dude, like, look at this. Like, is this amazing?" She's like, "I guess so. I don't know." I was like, "No, like, look." And then I showed her the full video. Like, no, watch this entire thing. That chip, it's amazing. It's incredible.
And I saw some clips that just had like the chip, you know, and they're like, I'm like, no, you got to watch it from the beginning. But interesting golazos that we see there. But let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and talk about what's happening, guys. We'll go into a little bit on the rankings. But first, Mr. Thomas Boy out of Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul again. Once or twice or three times a year, we have this conversation of what needs to happen. And I feel like it's just kind of, we don't need to go into that. No one knows what needs to happen. They can bring anybody in. It's not going to work. It's the players not motivated. But I do have to say, I mean, I really thought Thomas Boy could turn this team around. I don't know but I remember having this conversation that this is the manager that needs to have for this job. His job was to turn the team around. Yes, he didn't have a winning team when he got it. But definitely a failure. Naib is still seeing it. I think he even said it today in some of the press conferences. I mean, the shows that he's on, a failure for him, a failure for Cruz Azul. And then I wanted to bring up the question again because también Ojitos Mesa was fired. And it just kind of goes to show all these names that are coming back. We hear Potro might be rumored, but I hear Caixinha. Matosas is out there. It's like these same kind of players. I mean, got kind of coaches that get regurgitated around the Liga MX team. But I don't even know where to go with Cruz Azul. It's like what is the answer that needs to happen? And it just goes to show you when people talk about the four big clubs, Cruz Azul, when are they going to get demoted from that fourth? You know, like when at what point do we go? Okay, Cruz Azul has not done anything for a very long time. Those four big clubs, we need to have somebody else in there, maybe. But Naib, Thomas Boy, definitely a fracaso, ¿verdad?
Yeah. I mean, I think when you see Cruz Azul season, they've got 3 wins this season, and they were against the 16, 17, and current 18th place of the league. So they were against the worst teams in the league, basically. They did compete against Tigres for a while, I think, a little bit in that match. But overall, the season has been off for Cruz Azul, and I think we've reached a point, I think, in my opinion, that they're no longer one of the top 4. Maybe, our generation hasn't seen this team ever win something.
Yeah, maybe, and I think
our uncles, our grandparents,
I think that's exactly what it is. When you look at an older generation and, you think of the big four, I think it's popularity. But even then, I might even question popularity on Cruz Azul.
You see the attendance, too. I mean, there was 9,000 fans at this Estadio Azul.
I didn't see that at the San Jose earthquakes in San Jose, California. I did not see 9,000 fans. 9,000 fans at the last game.
I think what a team like Cruz Azul needs is to get relegated. I mean, get relegated. To think what the heck you're doing with the club, So I mean, I think if that happens to Cruz Azul, I think they'll think right how to do the decisions.
What team would sneak in? Cruz Azul gets demoted from the top 4, and what team gets moved in there?
Maybe Pachuca, no? Or Toluca, because they have some titles también.
Yeah, but Toluca, I don't know if I guess
Monterrey.
Toluca's getting that new stadium soon, right? Or not the new stadium, the renovation, so that'll help right there.
No,
No.
I'm like, I don't even want to talk about.
No, I just don't know. Like, I mean, we saw what you said about popularity. It's just popularity. I mean, even if Cruz Azul play in Jalisco, like they'll get a lot of fans. You know, if they play in Guadalajara, if they play in Monterrey, wherever you go in Mexico, that's right now where you can make an argument that they are Big Four. I mean, there is no other.
No, true. No, and I think we see that, and also the older generation. I think my dad is a big Cruz Azul fan. Talking about Larios and you know, it's like, but at the same time, when are we going to see something? So that's Cruz Azul. Morelia, I just kind of want to bring it up. Get ready, because I think they're going to be. I mean, looking at the math and everything, even if they win the next games, I think they got to win. They got to get 30 points next jornada for them not to get relegated.
I was a little unfortunate too, because they had some promising stuff in the attack. You know, like obviously you look at the amount of goals that they've scored this season; they're decent, but then they just completely fell apart recently. It's just that defense has just really let them down. And I mean, at the very least, watching Morelia games are always entertaining. At least this season, just because you're gonna at least see a few goals. Yeah. I'll give them that, but I mean, they're right now the prime candidate to be relegated next
they're
summer.
going to get relegated. There is no. I'll tell you that right now. They're gonna get relegated. No way they're getting 30 points next jornada.
Can't wait to hear what Tomas Boy has to say about that one in the coming days.
Watch Tomas Boy go to Monarcas.
Oh man,
I'm not kidding.
Not perfect.
I watch Tomas Boy going there. But just that's a little bit of the coaching. Who's going to come in for those two? Whoever's going to come in for Monarca is going to get relegated. So
it's funny though, these ¿cómo se dicen? Destituciones, firings, happenings at the end of the season. You know, there's 3 games left. Man, might as well stay with the same coach.
No, that's 3. You're not going to make a difference. Why not start now? And save those three.
You get more time to search for coaches.
Yeah, they know. They're like, well, even if there's nothing you can do to keep your job right now. So out. Tom had to. I think he's resetting his router. He's coming back, so hopefully he's coming up. But before we kind of go into the rankings, Club Tijuana secured its Liguilla dreams. They're the first team to do so. So interesting from the 8th to the 2nd spot. 21 teams in León and 27. They can kind of move around back and forth. Pumas with 20 points is on there. 19. With Puebla.
So what are your thoughts on León? That's an exciting team to follow right now.
I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to jinx it. That's why I've been really quiet.
I was gonna say let's talk about them for a second. I think them and Necaxa, they've really started to step up.
No, guys, if there's any time this Bielsa Jr., I keep saying it. It's Torrente's philosophy. You have to take account. Either they really did not like Tena, and I never really liked Tena. Great guy. What he gave in the Olympics and everything, but to turn around a team where it was just horrendous, and I know there were some injury problems, but now having not lost 7 games, and it's just clicking, with everybody that's playing is something great, especially for León fans that, we're not the very boisterous, but and then seeing now against, a great, the teams that they're beating and looking ahead, I mean, it looks like they're going to be in the Liguilla. I think they got Puebla, Chivas. That's going to be an interesting game 2 weeks from now. And then I think they close out with, teams that don't have a winning record. But Torrente, again, León going outside, of the regurgitation of coaches to try to bring somebody new, and it's working for them.
Yeah. I think I think we kind of... go ahead.
Yeah, just quickly. No, I just like the central midfield, Mejia and Leo Lopez. I think they've really got it together. Lopez is a young to definitely keep an eye on, and Mejia, obviously, he comes with a really good pedigree, so it shouldn't be a surprise there.
I think when you look at the roster, I mean, I think even before the season started, this is where I thought León was supposed to be. Where they were supposed to be. I thought they were supposed to be a fringe playoff team. You look at, the Montes, Bocele, Tom mentioned Mejia too. Like, I think with that roster, they should be at this position. And I'm glad actually to see them. I like, it's fun to watch them play as well. And I think, they struggled at first, but now they're finally reaching those expectations that I believe that I put at least I and a few of us put on them before the season even started.
I think they're the best team right now.
Ooh, the best team right now.
I think if you look
We
at
said
the
you're jinxing it.
I'm
We
telling
said-
you, this is why I didn't want you guys to start talking about it. Dang it!
They're going off undefeated streaks. That's Necaxa right now, the greatest team in Mexican soccer, right? Nine games without a loss.
It's Necaxa. Like, come on, it's Necaxa. We'll find a way to not go to Liguilla. But interesting right there. Tijuana, great job. I'll take back my words. Tijuana playing amazing, and no surprise that they're in. And it's good to see that, right? It's good to see a Tijuana with Piojo. It's going to make it interesting, if they keep doing well, and even if they win, the drama that Piojo brings in, good for for Liga MX.
Piojo was having a blast in last Friday's game. Like, he was sitting in the stands, and then he ran past us in the press box, and was just hanging out with his little crew of I don't know, just security guard. He was all over the stadium because he was suspended for the game, but the guy was just out. He started the festivities for Tijuana gaining that playoff position. It was fascinating to see him just running around the stadium.
Pachuca getting that win in Chivas. So if we look at the first 8 teams, Club Tijuana, Pachuca, Tigres, Guadalajara, Club America, Necaxa, Toluca, and León. Anybody in there that you see kind of falling out and maybe having a Pumas or Puebla or Monterrey sneak in?
I think you've got a lot of strong teams left. I think obviously a couple of teams are going to move out of the ones you said there. I mean, I don't think Puebla are going to be there in the end. I think Monterrey and Pumas are probably going to be pushing right till the end there. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to the Liguilla already.
Yeah.
Because you look adding up now, and there's a lot of exciting teams there. Different styles going on. León styles actually quite play a lot of crosses into the box for a Mexican team. It's actually pretty different. You got the Necaxa style of extremely organized. Most fouls in the league. They break up the opposition's play a lot. And then you've got Chivas, who absolutely try and dominate teams, but they're not a complete team either, as Pachuca showed on Sunday night. And then Pachuca reigning champions. I mean, I just think all the way through those 10 teams that are up there right now, it's going to be fascinating.
Real quick with the Monterrey Tigres that is coming up. Monterrey has to win that match. I think if Tigres beats Monterrey this weekend, their chances for the Liguilla go way down the bottom, because they basically have to win the rest and then depend on other teams' scores. Mm-hmm. Also with Pumas has 2 visits left against Puebla and against Veracruz. They gotta get an away win. If they don't get an away win against these weak teams, well, actually Puebla's not weak, but Veracruz is. You're not gonna enter the Liguilla. So they're based on the 8 teams that are on the top 8 right now. I kind of see them already as the last 8.
Yeah, because Pumas has Veracruz, and then the next is they go against Monarcas. So let's but then that week 17, the last is a Puebla, which Puebla and Pumas both need a win. So it could either be an interesting team.
And watch out with Puebla León this weekend. Because
Puebla León,
that's also that has some Liguilla stuff in it. And Puebla, they tied against Pachuca, they tied against America, they lost against Chivas recently, but you never know with Puebla what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. León Puebla coming up. León has then Guadalajara and hopefully. Thank you. We close against Cruz Azul. So interesting to see that bubble of teams that are coming in. I could even see a Toluca slide down if there's anybody that's there, or even Necaxa.
I just think with the form that Toluca and Necaxa has had recently, as everyone else has said, I like this top 8 right now. I think they're worthy of being in this current position. I think the only team that I think might be able to have a late push, and I'm just saying this based off of individual efforts, not from the team in general, is Monterrey. I think there's a lot of talent in that team that could potentially push them into a top 8 position, but I'm still unsure. But as we've said, I like this the current top 8 that we have right now.
And it's dramatic too, right? León Tijuana would be a great, playoff. Toluca Pachuca, the history that they had, Necaxa and then Tigres, again, a great matchup that would be there, and then the Clásico Nacional. If we can just keep these 8, I think every single one of the games would be amazing games.
Everybody get draws for the rest of the
over there in Necaxa. Kudos to Poncho Sosa. I think it's a remarkable job he's doing over there in Necaxa after what he suffered with Leones Negros. He had that experience. That's actually amazing to watch in Mexico, because he had the experience with Leones Negros, and now he's been able to revert the situation with Necaxa. But when you see the squad that Necaxa has and compared to the Leones Negros, there's a lot of differences. I mean, I think in Leones Negros, he never had a player like Edson Puch, and we're seeing what he's doing. Puch, Espíndola, who came from MLS, Barovero as well, the goalkeeper from River Plate. It's really remarkable. It's great to see a promoted club be involved in the top 8, because we hadn't seen it since the Cholos and León days.
And just really quickly about Necaxa, this is also a team, not saying that they're going to win the title, that's highly unlikely, but it's a team that has already beat Tigres and Toluca in recent weeks, and I think that's just something to keep in mind.
Unlike Chivas, it still hasn't really beaten any big teams, aside from America, or a winning team, right? Everyone's giving a... We'll see, guys. It's going to be they're definitely very interesting. Pachuca looking great, too. From those who are in the chat,
Pachuca,
how are we not...
Pachuca, team. I mean, watching him on Sunday, they're live in Estadio Chivas, and they're really strong. I think Murillo and Omar Gonzalez at the back pin it together. I think Diego Alonso is underrated as a manager. I was actually speaking to someone in the Pachuca organization, and they quite like the fact that Diego Alonso is kind of low key. He's not. You don't see headlines about Diego Alonso. Like yesterday with Irving Lozano getting set, the thing Alonso said in the press conference was, I'd never speak about the referees. I'm never going to. I never have done, and I'm not doing now. So forget it. I'm not speaking about him. It's his job. It's a difficult job. But he also, this person I spoke to in Pachuca said that Alonso, he was at the under-20s game. He was at the under-17s game. He knows all these kids' names. Supermarket. And he'd be like, hey, how's it going? He knows this institution. I think that there was a rumor actually this week about Alonso potentially being a Mexico national team manager, in the near future. And, I don't know. I just don't think we talk enough about Diego Alonso, because, he's got some good young players, but he's also had the balls to kind of put him in there and throw him in and develop him. I think he's just watching him and Almeida on the touchline yesterday. It was like, man, these two managers, long way. I mean, they are very, very good. And you listen to them speak after as well, and you think, we've got 2 absolute quality managers in Mexico here.
That's interesting. It's interesting that you say that he's well aware and familiar with those youth players, because I feel like that's probably really important, especially for a lot of Pachuca fans to hear. Especially when that team, the part of their DNA is having these youth products, he's having these youth players. If he's paying attention to them, that's definitely good for the future of this team, if Alonso's still in charge.
Yeah, and I think we talked about the goal that Urreta Vizcaya scored. Urreta Vizcaya is a compatriot of Diego Alonso, and Diego Alonso specifically asked Martinez to bring Urreta Vizcaya. When Urreta Vizcaya was this gem or a prodigious player that was just not giving it. He was not showing the quality that he had that he showed in Uruguay. He didn't show it in Europe, and that's why he came to Mexico. I mean, the goal that he scored last night was amazing, but it's product of the great season he's having. He scored 3 goals and he has 5 assists. In my opinion, right now, Urreta Vizcaya provides a lot. It makes Lozano a better player, makes Franco a better player, makes Eric Gutierrez a better player. Yeah. It's this mixture of finding this good base of Mexican players and putting that extra effort from the foreigners, not picking the right foreigners. And I think Pachuca has nailed it stupendously, with Murillo, with Franco Jara, and with Urreta Vizcaya. I mean, that's the foreigners you need. Omar Gonzalez as well. When you got that and you add the fact that they got talented youngsters, I mean, you got a mixture and a team that's going to compete till the very end.
And I think we brought up just really quick about Murillo and Gonzalez. I think a good defense, and especially in playoffs, could carry you very far in that point in the Liguilla. And I think with those guys who have only allowed 5 goals, and a lot of that's with Conejo too, Conejo Perez. They've only allowed 5 goals in the last 6 games, if I remember correctly. Like, you could go into these playoffs with a lot of confidence, with that back line. And I think that's
2-3, right?
Conejo 2-3 right there. The young guy. He started his playing career, what was it, like the 1930s? 1922, 1923, if I remember correctly.
And also Pizarro's coming back. So
Pizarro's coming back.
Apparently, he's going to be ready for the game against Atlas. So.
Yes, definitely. Well, guys, we have gone past our hour of Mexican football here, Monday Night Football. Give you calming music for those of you still looking for that Gusano Quemador. Monday nights, you can catch us here 7 p.m. on obviously on YouTube, and we'll try to post obviously all the links. Please keep your all the comments. Love any questions that you guys have. Thanks to everybody on the chat. Really, really informational there. Listening to and I mean reading all the people that are on. So share this with your friends. Definitely let's keep growing. Just kind of quick reminder, a couple of things. Number one, Makita. If you saw some tweets from us, Makita wants to fly you to Miami and have dinner with Mr. Felix. You see him on TV.
If you want to know all the history of this wonderful club called Atlante, this is your
ask
chance
him about it.
to know every single detail about that club.
Yes. Also, you can also win some great Mi Selección gear. We tweeted about it. I know you can go into all of our tweeters. You can go to our Twitter accounts. Excuse me, and you can see and definitely sign up and click on the links. Help us also. Also, Mr. Johnny Rico. If you saw a great press release from his institution that he works for, Prost America. With a year in soccer, 2016, that Johnny Rico is writing, and Mr. Miguel Herrera is writing the forward, right, guys? It's something that I know that he's been working on. So we'll give you more details. Apoyándonos todos a nosotros, todos should be fun and exciting. So definitely we'll give you guys any news that are coming up. But the great Mexican soccer show, it's starting to heat up. Mexico versus U.S. I'm sure we'll be having some great discussions coming up in the next few shows. Anything else? We'll have Mr. Cesar close us out for today's.
We got Spurs versus the Warriors tomorrow. Should be fun. We got Kevin Durant. He'll probably be up there with the Warriors. It'll be good stuff. Oh, no, I'm just kidding, guys. Let's keep an eye for the Copa MX match this Tuesday, and let's keep an eye on the. You're going to start hearing rumors about all those players who are going to get called up to the Mexican national team. And, of course, that's going to create some interesting conversation and arguments within all of us, especially on Twitter. So I'm looking forward to that.
There it is. All right, guys. Have a great night. This has been the Mexican Soccer Show.
Buona